Hi, I'm going to discuss Module 1's questions during discussion 1. So the first question is, what does effective instruction for ELs generally look like? After watching all 3 videos and reading the articles, the main things that stood out to me was that Stephen stated that some of the language deficits come from the students, but also from the teachers. So the teachers aren't 100% perfect in the language area, language acquisition, that most of them do come from the teachers as well. And I do 100% agree with that, because some teachers want to help and apply best practices in their classroom or to their EL students, but are sometimes limited with resources, or they're unaware of the how to apply those best practices in the classroom. He also makes a good point that students and people subconsciously pick up language, and some people are more aware of the mistakes within the language, so they're able to pinpoint out those language acquisition mistakes that people have, and rather than picking up on the good pickup language of that. Last is he also puts the difference into aspect of the learning and the acquisition of teaching. I think that's really big and important when teachers effectively learn and plan how to teach the acquisition to be applied and how to be more meaningful, because when the student is engaged in his or her learning, the teacher actually takes time to investigate and understand those best practices and how to teach them. So the acquisition part is the more of the teaching part. The teachers learn and then they teach it to their students. So once a teacher or educator or adult wants to learn how to help out an EL student, then they're more engaged in that learning. Number 2 is, how would you characterize the types of instruction offered to ELs in your school or district? Best practices in my district focus only on the weak areas as a whole. So the whole for the county is, or my school in particular, is vocabulary and phonics. Because our students come to us with very little phonics skills, our ESOL teachers and our regular teachers are also trying to implement a huge phonics push. So, going back from the basics on day 1, what they would learn in kindergarten, they're also learning in 4th grade right now. That's just a big push across our district. So the ESOL teachers are providing instruction and teaching instruction, but honing in on those phonics skills any way they can, whether it's reading, whether it's math, whether it's just learning how to put 2 sounds together, anything. But our EL students are also on programs so that they help them in class, but can also help them at home. So a lot of them are, when they are getting monitored, is just a program to help with phonics, or it could just be anything to help them get where they're supposed to be, or maybe it's a content related phonics and vocabulary, just drilling those vocabulary words in their head based on content and grade level. One of the videos stood out to me most was about the 10-year-old little boy who had a hard time understanding what the teacher wanted. He got the answer correct, but she wanted him to explain how he got his reasoning, and he couldn't understand what she was saying, and all the students laughed. And I'm sure, and it makes my heart hurt on how many students actually do feel that way. It's actually interesting to make me think on, well, do I do that in my classroom? Do the students feel that way when I ask questions and they look at me like I don't know? Not as my kids don't laugh, but I wonder if in my head, if I could have explained it better or worded it better to have them understand as well. But it was also gut-wrenching when the principal talked only about working with the students who could be proficient. So don't mind the EL students who aren't going to make it anywhere, or don't understand, or have to change the test just for them, but only focusing on those proficient students, because education is not only about tests or passing tests. And if an EL student is coming from a different country or a completely different aspect of wherever the school is, you should not be worried about test scores. You should be worried about getting to know that student and knowing their family and welcoming them and having them show progress within their learning. Test scores already is not the goal for that. And they shouldn't focus only on that. They should focus on the direct instruction to pass the test, not just give me instruction to all test. Just my opinion. The little boy also wanted to work and wanted to take his work serious, and he kept telling her, no, it is important, but the teacher didn't feel that way, or, just let it slide by because the bell rang. So like I said, I wonder if students at my school do feel that way. Not necessarily in my class, because she does speak English and she can understand, but we have many that don't, and I wonder if they do feel that way. It's very interesting to me. This video makes me see teaching EL students and their families differently. In the video, he goes home and talks about his math test, and the parents are saying, okay, it is important, and the little boy knows that, but then coming to school and seeing differently, it makes me think that our families do value every bit of education that their child gets, because it is so valuable. And that's all I have for discussion 1. Thanks.